I'm going to call this meeting to order. The first order of business is the minutes. Have people had a chance to review the minutes?
I never received them, and I've looked 3 times.
Okay,
Never got them.
okay. They're on the drive, I think.
No, I
We're
was on
supposed
the drive. I was on the drive making sure I didn't miss it.
Okay,
I think
all right.
I want to make a statement. Other boards I'm on, if something isn't available 24 hours before the meeting starts, it doesn't count. I
Okay,
mean, that's how you get efficiency in your meeting. If you don't
right.
choose to do that, that's your option.
Oh, well, I certainly do choose to do that. I didn't realize that the minutes were not available as of yet. So we'll
Actually, if
just
I
hold the
could
minutes
just
till the
jump
next.
in, Linda,
Yes,
if you don't
sir.
mind. The minutes are in fact on the drive.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Yes. I
They were
actually
on the
didn't even.
drive? Where are they? What
yes,
is the
they
date
are.
they're on?
I don't have that on here. I just see them
Because
that
I
they're
mean, I
there.
looked today and I didn't see them. All right, that's fine. Okay.
Well, we can hold that till the next meeting if people want to.
No, if enough people have it vote on it, that's just
I
don't
I
waste
don't
time.
see them either, so unless I'm in the wrong place, the MBTA-CA working group, that's the drive.
Yes.
I think some of the issue here is if you go into type and you pull down specifically Word, you'll see things that are just Word extensions. You may not see everything. I'm still trying to understand why that is. But when you go up to under search and drive, if you select Word, you'll get all the words.
Right. Yes.
All
So,
right.
um,
Okay.
well, I'm just going to make then an executive decision that will hold the minutes until the next meeting, since
Fine.
it seems like a lot of folks haven't had a chance um, to review them. And maybe what we should do is have a separate folder on the drive that just says minutes, so it's easy for people to find. Does that make sense?
I could talk to Abby and Wendy about doing that. I'm doing the best at this as well, so.
Okay, great. That makes sense. All right. So speaking of the drive, let me just orient people to what is on the drive. We have the MBTA zoning excluded map that Ron from CMRPC put on the drive. And Victor, thank you for making that suggestion. This is extremely helpful, I think. And then we have a map of, it's the Trap Rock parcel, which, Al, do you want to explain what this Trap Rock parcel is?
Well, I just looked for a existing parcel on which we could slap 50 acres. And there aren't a heck of a lot of those left in Holden if you've looked at the at the suitability map.
Right.
The other thing is it being an overlay zone, unless I'm incorrect, it's not affecting whatsoever the rights of the landowner or the underlying use. In fact, to have it on something like Trap Rock might even be an incentive if they ever decide to sell off part of their parcel. They have a by right multifamily zone. Just a thought, just an example of how something could be overlain on something that's industrial quarry, etc.
Right, right. Yes, I was very encouraged when I saw this. I really was. Then we have an interactive map that was probably, I assume, also posted by well, actually, it's blank at the moment. So, um, so we'll move on from there. I think Ron wants to put an interactive map up there.
Pardon me if I could just,
Sure.
so I pasted, so I sent out the link to the interactive map to the group by email earlier this afternoon before leaving. I've
Okay.
since have copied the link into a Word document. The Word document is on the drive as well, and that link is active.
Okay, well, I certainly haven't had a chance to look at it, and it doesn't sound like anyone else has either. I totally agree with Scott Carlson that documents should be posted at least 24 hours before the meeting, if not before. So let's hold that for tonight. I think we've got plenty to discuss. Let's see. So then we have, let's see, we had our working group description. I actually posted some things. I posted, well, Al, you had mentioned sand pits, so I posted a couple articles I found about redeveloped sand pits in Massachusetts, and also a redeveloped quarry in East Longmeadow. That I found. And another one, actually this one, it says an old quarry is now a private pool. This is basically an estate where this family I think this is also in Western Mass somewhere, created an estate, a very interesting and I'm sure very expensive estate with a lovely house on it. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. So let's see. There's CHAPA, Citizens Housing and Planning Assistance document. I also put down a document about visualizing a density of 15 units per acre, which shows you different examples, which I thought was useful. I know there have been concerns expressed about large apartment buildings. Anyway, there are lots of ways that this these buildings can be configured that most definitely do not involve large apartment buildings. And as Mr. Carlson said, we have definite height restrictions in our town. So in any case, I just thought it would be interesting for people to see that. So if people can take a few minutes and review some of these, that would be terrific. So I did want to talk about maps tonight. So let's see. Should we start? Do you want to say more about the trap? Should we show people the Trap Rock site first? And
Well,
Al or
yeah,
Peter or Dave, you can
in,
give us more.
in
Yes, go
terms of
ahead.
full disclosure, I mean, I'm personally looking for a site which lets Holden completely and legitimately comply with the law, and at the same time give us the least possibility of ever seeing a full build out of multifamily houses, and if possible, see a very small build out of multifamily houses, which is why I seized on the Trap Rock, which, as far as I know, is well, it's for a fact, it's a very ongoing business, very productive business, and likely to be so for many, many years to come.
Okay. Let's see. Do I have sharing privileges? Let's see.
Okay,
Oh,
you should
someone
see
else
it
is
right
sharing.
here.
You got it? Okay, thank you, Dave.
Tell me if you see it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
let's see.
I put one 50-acre site on there, which uses the convenience of abutting one of the zone lines already, which would give it a fairly easy legal description. And the other one, I simply paralleled Main Street and put a setback to include 50 acres. Now, in that second one, there is some wetlands, a small pond, so that would have to be
Right.
considered. And I
Right.
don't have any wherewithal for precise map making, but somebody who does could massage that a little bit and come up with something that would actually be 50 acres of usable under the law.
Well, even if we could get 25 acres out of this one, and then some other, a few 5 acre or 10 acre or 15 acre parcels in other places, that might be good. So this is up in the upper, let's see, I guess you'd say the upper left-hand corner, or the western corner of Holden, like
Yeah,
very close to,
that green area is Rutland. So you're on
right,
North Main Street, almost heading into Rutland.
right. And let's see, um, and the section with the hash marks, is that what you were thinking was the 50-acre parcel, or is it around that? Because that could be, I know hash marks on our GIS maps mean excluded land, so.
With those dimensions, it would be exactly 50 acres.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Okay, that's helpful. All right, so let's see. Anyone have questions about this particular part? Questions or thoughts? Thoughts about this particular parcel?
If I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of the parcel that's being drawn here, or the area, the 50-acre area, would be in excluded areas. I'm kind of flipping back and forth between the interactive map and
Right.
trying to figure out exactly where it would be.
Why don't
Not
we
to
look
say,
actually?
not to say that I'm against this. It's just I guess we get a lot less land out of it than it seems like.
Right. Why don't we actually, Dave, why don't we switch to the, actually, not the interactive map, but the map of excluded areas, the black and white map.
So the map that's not interactive you're looking for?
Yeah, I think so for the
Sure, let me
moment. I
just
mean,
stop sharing here and
yep,
retrieve that for you.
thank you.
Welcome.
Linda, can I also ask a question just for the group in general? I've been
Sure.
kind of bouncing this around in my head for the last week. I'm kind of curious where folks stand about, and Al alluded to this.
Mm-hmm.
Are we trying to create a district that would actually have a likelihood of getting the housing built, or do we just want to meet the letter of the law, and actually potentially try and find a district that has a very low likelihood of getting built, which I could
Mm-hmm.
see being more politically viable? I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
curious to, I feel like that will narrow our options significantly depending on how we decide we want to go about it from that perspective.
Right. So, Al, you've already stated your opinion. Do any others have an opinion?
I'll just say I'm agnostic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else care to express an opinion?
Sorry, William Holmes here. I had to find the mute button. I'm open to dense housing being built and zoning for that.
Mm-hmm.
I am nervous about traffic, though. I think
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Manager had mentioned that that is the most common complaint in town. And so if we were to pick a lot for housing, I would want it to be on the east side of town.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's helpful to know. And of course, there we have the option of picking a variety of lots too. So, anyone else have an opinion that they care to express?
Centralizing this all in one zone, what would the impact be on the elementary school?
I had that question as well. Yes. Peter, thoughts about that, or anyone else? Okay, nobody.
I ultimately, as we get more housing, whether it's this or other housing, I think it's clear that we're going to need to build an addition onto one of our schools one way or another. So I think no matter where we put this, it's going to be 10 years out at a minimum, honestly, no matter what you end up with. So
Right.
we'll probably be able to plan for it to some degree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I've heard,
I had a couple
yes,
of
Elizabeth.
thoughts.
Yes.
Well, Town Manager Luke, I also was wondering where we talked last time about the data for Holden is actually showing a decline, predicted decline in school age children, or current decline in school age children. So if that trend continues, do you still think we would really be looking at a addition to one of the schools?
Over time, definitely, and certainly if you build 750 more units, then absolutely.
Right.
Right.
But I guess part of what I'm thinking is the other part that came up last week was that it would be unlikely that we would see that complete build out, maybe never. But I also had a question if that siting ends up near the Trap Rock, or even a small portion of it. How does that intersect with the Jefferson Overlay District, that the village that we voted on the year before, was the last year?
I don't think
Would that help in some ways to facilitate that whole idea of kind of having a little bit tiny bit of a walkability improvement and some more
I
traffic.
think that's past. Dave, you can comment on this, but I think that's outside the Jefferson zone, is it not?
Yeah, it's outside of the Jefferson zone, but I guess in theory, if you had a greater density of population on this part of town, people may be looking for amenities and services in the village district. So that might be something of a catalyst for economic development in the village. Possibly, we don't know,
Right.
but
But
it might be.
it's not walkable from that location to Jeff.
No,
to
it's
the
not
overlay
walkable,
district.
but just vehicle traffic, more population out there looking to spend and not having to go too far for services, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, at least the sidewalks almost reach from Jefferson proper to the Trap Rock now. There have been, so I mean, it's not like a 5-minute walk, but it's also, I think, within a mile max. But getting out of the Trap Rock area, I guess, down onto Main Street would be its whole nother ballgame, because that would be up behind the Trap Rock. Okay, well, thank you for talking that through with me.
I have a question about it. Um, does it need to be redeveloped in some way, or does there need to be extensive, yeah, I guess redevelopment, rehabilitation, or whatever, since it is a quarry site?
That's not something that's beyond my scope.
Okay.
I don't know
Al, do you have any
what the
thoughts about
logistics would
that?
be to. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that certainly need to be some regrading. I have not personally been on the Trap Rock site in probably 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
There is some heavy rock outcroppings. There were some heavy pits for their
Mm-hmm.
sands and gravels. But suffice it to say, any site would have to be graded for the use, for multifamily use.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I
Mm-hmm.
think it brings us back to a basic question of whether we're really concerned about the developability of the land or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I wish Mary Jude was here because I think she has an opinion about that. But yeah, I'll just state my view, which is that I do think we should include parcels that can be developed as required by the law or as intended by the law. Um, will I be heartbroken if not all 750 end up getting developed? I can't tell you. I would be heartbroken. um, but uh, I think we should at least start with a good faith effort to identify a meaningful amount of land that can be developed. So I guess that's my view. Um, so,
The,
um,
the thing you need to remember is the likelihood of anything being developed in the near future, any zone that you create, is
mhm,
fairly minimal. If you're
mhm,
looking on the east side of town, you're talking about generally putting it on top of something that already exists. So if you're rezoning a neighborhood with even 20 the zone 20 parcels that are already owned by someone, you have to get
right,
all 20 separate owners to
right,
somehow
right,
collaborate, and the
right,
likelihood of that happening is like zero.
right,
Plus, it also jacks up the cost of every parcel individually. If you're going to put it
mhm,
over what's already a single family home, and a developer's going to pay $500,000 an acre, then to
mhm,
have to demolish everything and then to somehow collect all 20 acres,
right,
it's pretty unlikely. So.
mhm. Victor?
To that point, how do people feel about putting a zone over an area that's already quote unquote developed with existing housing? And I take Peter's point certainly, but I mean, we could write the district in a way that it allows kind of townhouses, and then developers
Mhm,
don't need to acquire all, 20 parcels or whatever it is. They can build townhouses one parcel at a time. So there's always that risk as well. So I don't know. I'm hearing people be hesitant about putting the zone in an area that already has housing. I'm not sure that I feel so hesitant about that. And then the other question I kind of had is, are there any areas in town where there already is a 15 units per acre density where we could put the district there
mhm,
and essentially be fairly comfortable knowing that we already have that level of density in that area, and it's unlikely that a developer would demolish and reconstruct
mhm.
that neighborhood.
Peter, I saw you shaking your head.
No, yeah, it doesn't exist now. And if we did, and if there was any housing that already was at 15 units per acre, we could actually count that towards the 750, even if it's
Mhm,
already pre-existing.
right.
So the answer is no on that one.
I'm just curious, do you know what the density of Holden Hills is?
I don't off
Al?
the top of my head.
Where is
Does
Holden
any,
Hills?
The golf course.
because I forget, there's something like, what Um, is it, I don't know, 40 or 50 units in there, maybe more than that? And it's in a pretty confined space. So I would wonder if that's got 15 units per acre.
There is definitely no place in Holden that has 15 units per acre.
Okay, all right. Well, that solves that. Um, and but I mean, it's kind of interesting. I'm curious what it is, just because could be a model that we could show people for development. But anyway, um, let's see. So, um, all right, could we put the map of excluded parcels up again?
I believe it's up. Are you not seeing it?
I'm not
Why?
seeing it now. Is anyone else?
I got it.
You do?
I see it.
Yeah.
Really?
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
I don't know what's going
I
on with
see
my
it.
screen. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. Okay, a different screen. Got it. All righty. So, okay, well, we don't know if the quarry site, part of it, I mean, I'm just trying to guess, just looking at the map, um, if, not all of it is buildable, but it seems to me like a meaningful proportion of it could be buildable. I don't know if there's a way um, to figure out what I know that parcel 95-1 I know that altogether is 330 acres. I took a look at that to see how many acres there were on the GIS, and it was about 330. So it's a big parcel. Um, so, um, but I don't know if there's a way to match that parcel, or to figure out which there must be, which parts of that parcel um, are excluded. There must be a way to match those. Would the interact map help with that, Dave?
Actually, and the way to do that would be to make certain selections, and then those selections would be fed into the compliance model that the Regional Planning Commission has. That's a very extensive database of Excel spreadsheet of several fields. So they would
Yes.
take the candidate location, they would run that into that matrix, and that would give you more definition regarding the feasibility of the site, either as proposed or enlarged or smaller.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So could we do that and just see what actually is available on that parcel?
Well, not really. This is a
No.
highly technical
Okay.
spreadsheet that the Regional Planning Commission has. There's several questions on it, so it's not really a user-friendly, as far as from my experience. But certainly if this group had candidate locations, we could take that list of candidate feed them into the compliance model, and then get back to the board with
Mm-hmm.
some analysis, if
Mm-hmm.
you'd like.
Well, I mean, I think we could look at, it would be certainly useful to look at that location, and see what actually is buildable. Um, so,
So your best option then is for you to pass that along to Ron and CMRPC and say,
mm-hmm,
this is our potential location. Tell us what
mm-hmm,
fits there, and he'll tell you how much, he'll calculate in the frontage necessary, and even, potential open space that could go with the development and so forth, and how many
mm-hmm.
units and parking and all that. So that's really the technical aspect that they do. If we try to do it, and I've been on this, I've messed with that matrix in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's unpleasant. So
Okay, no problem. And you want me to pass that along to him?
I can, you can, whatever you like.
I can also, I have a list running. I can make sure I can collaborate with you, Linda, just to make sure that the list is accurate and up to date. And then
Okay,
I can forward it to Ron as a
okay,
staff liaison, so that's fine.
okay. All right, that would be great. Thank you. That would be great. So I think my thought, and I'll just state my thought at the moment, is that we should include at least some of that lot. Maybe that can be where our big 25-acre lot is. Um, and perhaps we can find some other parcels around town that where it wouldn't be too burdensome to have something. I personally am not. I personally would prefer to avoid zoning over neighborhoods. I think, understandably, people can be quite upset by that, and I do hope we have a shared goal of getting something approved at town meeting. And I think that would not help in that mission. So I would like to avoid, I'd like to avoid zoning over existing neighborhoods. I had a thought. So anyway, Victor, let me ask you, since you and Dave, actually you and Dave together, I do see some lots on the east, closer to the eastern side that appear to be vacant. And I wonder if you'd had a chance to look at those, um, um, and what your thoughts might be about those.
I
I
haven't taken a look at any of these. I mean, if you certainly would like to make a proposal, we can certainly take a more detailed look in or add those to the short
Mhm.
list of candidate locations.
Okay. Victor, have you had a chance to take a look?
have not, no.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I just I wasn't sure about some of these initial questions that I asked about, like, do we want to
Mhm.
rezone neighborhoods that have already been built out? Do we want to actually try to create a district that creates housing? But now that I feel those questions have been relatively answered,
Mhm.
I think that narrows down the options significantly. And I can
Mhm.
take a closer look.
Okay, all
I mean,
right.
especially if we're just looking for vacant parcels, that really narrows down the options
It
significantly.
does, it does. So, I guess I'd like to offer my layperson's thoughts about that. Um, uh, Dave, if you can scroll up a little bit on the map. All right, so let's see. So right next to 190, um, looks like a couple of fairly large parcels. Yep, those two.
Those
Yep.
parcels, one of those is on Harris Road. It's a quarry for Parquet the concrete guy. It's a huge
Okay,
parcel.
so
It's a huge parcel.
it's a huge parcel. Okay,
Yeah,
and it's
but
owned.
it's his quarry for batching his stuff for making concrete.
Okay, all right. So that's something that's being
That
actively
abuts
used.
190, what you're talking about. That
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
abuts
yeah.
190.
Mm-hmm. It's yes, it's very close. This one, well, where Dave's cursor is right now. Can you see Dave's cursor?
Yeah, right, just west of 190, right near the blue marker, right? Yeah.
Right, right, right. And then north of that is a smaller parcel right there, also close to 190. And what's that particular parcel being used for? It kind of looks like an anvil to me. Does anyone know what that is used for?
Don't,
Pardon me?
I do not.
Okay, all right. Okay. I mean, that seems to me, I don't know how many acres that is, but it doesn't look too small. It looks like it might meet the 5 acre requirement, potentially. Dave, do you have any
But
thoughts
aren't you
about?
also by the town dump as you get further up, or am I looking at the wrong map?
No,
Um,
you're right. Further up north, it would be the landfill,
Yeah, that's what
right,
I thought. Okay.
further up north. Um,
right about where the cursor is now, a little bit
I
to the
see.
left, maybe.
Right, right. So you're close to the landfill, but you're not in the landfill, um, which could make a difference. Um, so, but you make a good point, Al, that it is close to the landfill. So we'd have to think about that. But that's something, I think it's something to consider. Do we know how many acres are there?
If you want, I can call up the GIS maps and see if I can just do a query there if you like.
Sure, that'd be great.
All right, I'm going to keep this map
Yeah,
active
yeah,
here.
okay.
All right, that one looks like it's owned by um a private company. I can't tell what they do exactly. It's not
Yeah,
local ownership.
What, what's the acreage?
Acreage. Acreage is 27.67
Mm-hmm.
with a frontage on River Street.
Right, right. And I see it has, yeah. So, I mean, it seems to me that we could take a portion of that one. If we had a 25 acre, uh, 25 acres at the quarry, um, we could try to take 25 acres here, but it seems like the shape of it wouldn't be very conducive to that. I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead. Or 23 acres, rather.
Well, you don't know. I mean, you have your list of possible locations. If you investigate further, that can help to refine it as you iterate through this
Yeah.
process.
Yep. I'd like to put that one on the list.
All right. And then you want to look at the ones you were just asking about before this.
Well, I know that Mr. Carlson said that one was owned by somebody who uses it. Yeah.
Okay, so you know about that. Okay.
You might as well put it on the
Yeah, I
list. It
mean,
can be
unless he wants it.
disposed of, but you can at least put it on the list.
Right.
You can take
I
it
mean,
off the list if you want. But put it there for that is a larger parcel.
it's a larger parcel, and maybe he'd like to retire and sell his land. Just put it on the list. I mean, again, you know, I actually would prefer to avoid any parcels that have people on them or businesses on them, frankly.
All
But
right.
So that 23 acre parcel is across the street from the one proposed in the last
Right.
one. What were the concerns with that site?
It was the old dump.
Okay, so being
Right,
right
it's-
across from the town dump is okay.
How that last site ever made it to the list is totally beyond me. I mean, by even a quick reading of the law, that was never a site that could be approved for MBTA zoning. The site has to be public and designated as developable by the town, which as far as I know, the town has not done.
well, I know Peter's
Nor
been.
could it with DEP regulations.
Yeah, this is where Mary Jude's input would be very helpful, and I think we should revisit this next week, because I think she's currently with the Department of Environmental Protection, and she's just done a lot of redevelopment, and she understands these things very well. So, and she could tell us, I think, very likely whether that is a good spot or not. So, and then what about the parcel? Let's see. It's kind of toward the top right of the screen. It's irregularly shaped. It's across from another parcel that has like a lake or a pond. Oops, not that far up. Not that, but although I do see an empty space up there. But anyway, can you scroll down a little bit more, Dave? All right, so you see the parcel toward the bottom of the screen now. There is a parcel, yeah, just down a tiny bit, Dave, to the left. I was actually thinking, that's not a bad one necessarily. But yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of that one, although that smaller one you had, those two smaller ones there to the right of it might be something to think about.
Okay. I think I can try to. I think I get the gist of that. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, those are just my thoughts. So, I'm sure there could be others. And Victor, if you and Dave or whoever wants to perhaps look at look at the maps in more detail and consider other parcels. Those are just a few of the ideas I had as a layperson, and as someone who doesn't have nearly as much knowledge about the town as Scott
Hey,
does.
can I just say
Yes.
something? I'm not sure that any conversations that are going on in the chat, the Zoom chat, are recordable, and therefore we should not be speaking in the chat because it could be an open meeting law violation as we debate or discuss within the chat. We have
Okay,
to do
thank
it
you for
within
mentioning
the
that, Peter.
discussion of the meeting that everyone can hear.
Thank you very much. I didn't notice that. Thank you. Okay, so Okay, yes, we should make these comments explicit. So Victor, I'm going to ask you, um, which parcel are you referring to to as the one that where you walk your dog?
It is off, I think it's Salisbury Street or Shrewsbury Street. I always mix up the two. Yeah, go down. Okay, it's off Shrewsbury Street next to Mount View. Yep, there it is. You had your cursor on it. Very large parcel. There's some kind of utility building there. I'm not sure. I've
That's,
never.
that
I've
looks
never.
like in the WTAG
I was going
antenna
to say the
site.
WG zone. Yeah.
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 Okay. Um,
That's gonna that parcel is a lot of people negotiating on that. I don't know what's going to happen to it, but that's not really an open parcel. I don't see that happening.
Open in what sense? For development or?
Multiple people have tried to put solar panels in that particular parcel.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know where the next ones are, but I think that will continue to happen.
We can still put a zone on it. Just
Fine, go ahead, do what you
and
want.
allow solar panels if people want to do that instead.
yeah, I don't know if people are going to want development near the school, honestly. I could see that creating some opposition. And as I said, you know, certainly one of my goals, and perhaps my top goal, is getting something passed at town meeting. So I would have a concern about that.
Yeah, my concern was traffic.
Oh,
That-
true. Mount View. Yeah, traffic going in and out of Mount View. Traffic going. Yeah. That could be. I think that could be problematic. That does
What
make sense to me.
What about
Yeah.
the parcel slightly down and to the left that's right above where it says Westview Street?
Oh, yes.
What is that? Yeah, that.
You go into the town GIS map and see if I can find that easily enough here.
The interactive map with the excluded zones, you can click on parcels and still get parcel data too.
Yes, I'm aware of that, but
Okay.
the group would like for me to put that one up. I'd be glad to do it.
I'm sorry. What did you say it was, Dave? Did you say what it was?
I was looking for it when Victor made that comment about which is true. That map would have those levels of detail.
Yeah, it's still across from the school, isn't it?
Yes, but at least it's not right in back of it. I think a lot of people walk their dogs there. So, in the one you mentioned, so where was it?
There it is in the center of the screen.
Oh, right there.
Right under, yeah, right there. Yep. It looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's got a house on it though.
Okay, I see it.
Right.
Yeah, so this is Dyer Thomas, co-trustee. I have one here.
Huh, trustees. So,
There is a house on a portion of it towards
mm-hmm.
the front corner by Shrewsbury Street, and the rest of it is vacant land. Looks like there
Right.
may be a farm. There's a farming use there. Oh, this is that the farm. I think that's a farm use up there.
Huh. Are they actually farming on it or is it just owned that
Maybe
way?
horse paddocks, possibly. Scott, you know what this one is?
I'm trying to figure out, and I'm looking at your map here, and I'm not. My orientation on this one is not. There is a horse farm over there, but I don't know where it is. There's
Yeah.
one, there's the ones that are on Manning Road, but there's some on this side too.
They have a lot of woods for a horse farm. You know, I mean, it's maybe a small horse farm with, a few horses. So, how many acres is it?
Yeah. 12.43.
So it's big enough to do some, to include, or at least a part of it, to include at least a part of it. Then they can they can decide if they want to sell it or not. Um, but it's something to consider, just something to consider maybe.
Do you want that on the list?
I'd put it on the list just to see.
Yeah.
What is Fisher Road like?
Does it, does
Oh,
anybody,
he laughs. Go ahead.
does anybody with real estate experience have any idea what a multifamily zone, say on that last site at the farm, what that would do to land values for existing single-family homes around it? My suspicion is it would not be helpful.
Hmm.
And at least I'm pretty darn sure it wouldn't be perceived as being helpful.
Well, that's the thing, and it's more of a whether it's realistically going to depreciate values or not. You can count up, 100 houses surrounding it, and they're all going to be at town meeting with pitchforks, and they're not going to be happy about it no matter what. So there's just these other factors that you have to consider if you want to actually pass the measure.
Right. Well, that is a really good point, Peter. That's a really good point. So, let's see. I see the reason to try to mostly zone on the eastern side of town near the highway, but I'm wondering if we want to look at some other parcels on the other side. So I'm looking at a parcel, let's see. It's right now it's toward the lower left side of the screen. Oh, okay. Where was it? Let's see. Well, there's a few parcels there actually that appear to be open and not excluded. And they're close to, whoops, can you scroll down a little bit, Dave? Thank you. And they appear to be close to Worcester, so at the very least, people could get from there to Worcester relatively easily. Do you see the ones I'm talking about? I see a whole bunch there, actually. There's one right down near the Worcester line, or a couple down near the Worcester line. Maybe there's some houses on one of those, though. And then a little bit further up to the left, there are some bigger parcels
Are you
that
on Salisbury Street? Is that where you are?
good question. I'm trying to figure out if that is Salisbury Street or where that is. It's right across, whoa. Okay, so there's the Holden Reservoir, and of course that a lot of that land around that is excluded. Whoa, 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 whoa. I wasn't going all that far left, but that's something else to consider.
No,
So stop right there, please. So sort of in the middle of screen. Yeah, right there in the middle of the screen. There are a few parcels there.
What are you on South Street? I'm trying to figure out where you are.
I mean, I am too. I'm trying to figure out where we are as well. Let's see. Maybe I'll look. I have the
Because that's
GMAP.
reservoir number 1, and you got reservoir number 2 that you're looking at. Then you're gonna go up the street to South Street if that's where you are.
That might be South Street. I
Isn't
don't
that
know.
isn't that conservation land?
I was gonna say, you got a lot of conservation there, but you got large parcels there that
I
just
feel like
aren't
that
developed. They have single houses on them. They're 25-acre lots.
Hmm.
But they they now have made stuff with sensitive land as part of their deal. They've all done that up there to protect
What
themselves.
Wouldn't they be excluded if they were parcels we could not that no one could build on?
No, they won't be. They're not exclusionary. They're on the title to the land. That's all. They, as the owners, are holding it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like it wouldn't be considered what you're looking at. The owners
Mhm.
hold that.
Mm-hmm. Who owns that big parcel right there in the middle? I see some water there. So I think. So
That's the town of Holden owns it. I feel like
oh,
that
we own that.
should be excluded.
Huh.
The Spring Ledge Farm Conservation Area?
Huh. Peter, any thoughts? Or Dave?
Spring Ledge was a recent acquisition, a recent land acquisition, which is heavily loaded on the conservation restriction. So, I mean, it's not excluded, but the likelihood of being able to build on it is limited because of its use.
Okay. Okay.
But I thought public land was excluded anyway.
There's some exceptions.
No, public land isn't excluded
Oh, okay.
necessarily. The municipality has to show that they had no prior plan for the use of the public land.
Okay.
Okay.
So in other words, if we had already expected to put it, if we were in the course of planning to build a school on a plot, we couldn't also then zone it to be a multi-unit.
Okay. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. So Peter, I think I might vaguely remember when the town bought this land, you bought it to preserve it. Is that right?
Correct. It was multiple jurisdictions that were involved in the preservation and the purchase.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Multiple towns, you mean?
No.
Well, it was a collaboration between the federal government, ourselves, and the city of Worcester.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there was anyone else involved, but maybe White Oak had. I'm not sure if they just hold the. Did they just hold the conservation restriction, Dave?
Either White Oak does or Greater Worcester Land Trust holds it.
Might Greater Western Land Trust might have been. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that doesn't sound so promising. Even I don't know. That's something to think about, I guess, but I don't know. Let's see. All right. So, what about further down, right next to the Worcester line? There are several properties. I'm thinking, not toward the bottom, but toward the top, close to where it says Worcester. There appear to be no, the other way. There's that little tiny parcel. I don't know. Is it
I
5
was going to
acres?
ask about the slivers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, James.
I was going to ask about those slivers of land.
Go
Because that,
ahead. Yes.
I mean, are those 5 acres? I mean, where did those come out to? Because one way to ensure that there's no issues with traffic in Holden is to have it so it can only dump out into into Worcester.
Right. Right. Right, or very close to Worcester on an existing road. Although, would a builder have to build a road um, if it's not currently connected to a road?
There have been other municipalities who have had parcels that were sort of landlocked and the only egress was through a neighboring town, and those zones were rejected by the state when they proposed them, even though they
Hmm,
passed.
I see. Oh, well.
So yes, in other words, my guess would be that you couldn't just empty it and you couldn't just have the only entrance and exit coming
Uh-huh,
from the neighboring town.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. So
Worth
let's see.
worth the ask.
I'm sorry, what?
It was worth asking.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Okay, so, alrighty. Well, let's see. I'd have to look at the GIS to see if there are any Holden roads that, um, that it dumps out onto. Don't know. Let's see if I can quickly figure that out. Okay, so. Layers. Okay, so, Google Street Map. Hmm. I don't want to try to sit here and try to figure this out at the moment.
I'm seeing Salisbury Street.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
and I believe that's 5 acres right there. I'm
oh.
going back and forth. So that one lot it doesn't look like it borders a road,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe Salisbury Street runs through there.
Okay, all right. Well, that might be promising. Why don't we put that one on the list?
If what I'm looking at on my screen is the same lot that
Mm-hmm.
is right there.
So James,
So
if you could give me the parcel ID, I would add it to the list. I don't, just to be sure here, if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
250-17 is one of the lots. There are 2 lots.
All right, good, thanks. You want the other one as well?
Bear with me. I'm clicking on it. It's not the most intuitive with the trackpad. 250-16.
Okay, good, yep.
So I think, why don't we start there? And see what the options are with those
I would like
parcels.
to include the two sand pits that are up by Corner Parks.
Oh, good idea. Where are those?
One's on Corner Park sitting back, and the other one's still on Corner Park, going down towards the church.
Ah, okay. Okay.
They're sand pits.
Mm-hmm. Right. And we know that sand pit, well, I did
And
find
and
articles.
they're good sized parcels. I don't know how many acres they are, but they're good. Both are good sized parcels.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's great. Does anyone else have any other parcels they want to suggest at the moment?
Yeah, what's the giant rectangle sort of middle of the screen up middle of the screen? You're close right there. Yep. It looks vacant, although it's commonly owned with another parcel next to it by Keith Prakniak.
How do you spell it?
Prachniak.
Is that Bailey Road or Reservoir Street or Brennan Way?
Reservoir Street.
Okay, so that's 180,
I think. Click on it.
184.4.
I think that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah,
It is.
this one.
All right, good. So
But you could also package it maybe with some of the adjacent parcels to it.
I'm just seeing a lot of cul-de-sacs and a lot of angry people.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know that.
And a big section of what I assume to be woods that would be cut off, and that may disrupt wildlife.
Hmm. So do we want to put that on the list or do we want to hold off?
Where would be the nearest main road that this would come out to?
Probably connect to Bailey Road.
yeah, you have Brennan Way on one side.
Is
Um,
is that heavily trafficked already, or is that?
Brennan Way is a neighborhood lot that terminates in a
Oh, that
cul-de-sac, so it's
yeah,
whatever
the
the local
cul-de-sac.
traffic.
The Bailey Road is what I was asking about.
It might be adjacent to Bailey Road with another parcel down here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So there's this
one,
other one, also owned by the same party, 196.1. If those were put together with site assembly, then your access would be Bailey Road in that case, yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
Bailey Road,
voiced my concerns, so, but
I'm
please.
sorry, say that again. I'm sorry.
I said I voiced my concerns, but please, if we feel that it should be added.
Let's see. Well, okay, so there's a cul-de-sac there. Yeah, if I understand you correctly. Um, let's see.
understand also that you need, you can't be landlocked or else the state wouldn't support it. So if you're zoning it, you can't just zone that parcel. You'd have to zone a few extra parcels to have some sort of access
Egress.
to the road.
Yeah, we have to have egress to it.
Understood.
Yep.
Yeah, that does make sense. It does. What about, so down toward the bottom of the map now, the sort of triangular parcel. It's next to an excluded area. Um, there are some houses that are, I think, not too close to it. Not too close to it. What about that parcel?
The one I'm on here.
it's right next to a piece of excluded land. It's almost a triangle. It's behind some houses, but but it's fairly far from them, I would say. It's next, so let's see. I guess what's that, 914, that number? Is that 9 or 614, something 14? It's behind that number, that house number.
Have you got an address I can put on what I have for the GIS?
It's immediately to the left of the one you've got selected right now. Oh,
Oh, yes, it's
Reservoir
immediately
Street.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
614. I believe that says because
Thank
the
you.
adjacent ones are all 600s.
Yep.
I mean, that looks like it's somebody's house, somebody's privately owned.
Well, well, somebody owns it, but they don't live, that particular parcel doesn't appear to have a house on it.
Oh, it looks like it does right over the 4 and right
It
under the
does, to
4.
the left. Is that what you're thinking of, to the left there?
And if we're looking at the same lot, the 614, right under the 4, I see what looks to be a structure.
Yeah, I think there's a house there. But I'm wondering how far back from the house this is. And
Linda, you're talking about the
yes,
lot that is to the right of 614 Reservoir Street.
correct, yes, that's
Yeah.
right, yes.
That is also owned by Eric Prakniak.
Mhm.
So could search for the owner Prakniak and then it would come up. I don't know who that person is, but they own some very large parcels in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. I was looking at the wrong one.
Oh, you're fine, you're fine.
Not that one.
Where was it? Let's see.
Crackniak owns this, Crackniak owns this one.
It's
Mhm.
195-1 is the one that Linda's talking about.
95-1.
Southwest of this parcel. More southwest.
Let me just enter it in. In the
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
parcel ID 195.
195-1. There
This
you
one.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, yep. I was thinking of that one.
So, I
maybe
mean,
the one.
I agree with James completely. I'm not
Mhm.
comfortable with having all these woods cut down. I think the
Mhm.
access for these parcels is terrible in terms
Mhm.
of frontage and, you know,
Mhm.
you'd have to build a road or something.
Mhm.
But if our intention is to choose vacant land, and we don't care too much about it being developable or feasible, you know, you have several parcels owned by the same person here. That taken together are quite a lot of acreage.
Mhm.
His name has come up at planning board meetings, so it's public
It-
information, so we
Mhm.
could see what he thinks.
Interesting. I wonder where he lives.
Good question. There should be an address in there.
That's true. 462 Bailey Road.
Mhm.
So
I
he
mean,
lives.
maybe he'd like to make some money. I don't know.
Or he could
Seriously.
tell us to kick rocks.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Maybe but he might like to make some money. And we would, if we put smaller parcels all, in different locations, I mean, first of all, that would be better for the elementary schools to spread it around to different locations and have not huge developments in one spot, or concentrated development. And yeah, we don't want concentrated development. I don't think personally. Um, and he wouldn't necessarily even have to sell the whole thing. He could sell just part of it. So um, anyway, that's a thought. Just a thought, nothing definite. And I mean, I think I'm not a big fan of cutting down trees, but Holden actually does have a lot of trees. And I mean, the city of Worcester, owns a huge chunk of Holden, and there's the state forest.
That
It's a good chunk of Holden.
that land is chapter 61.
It's
Oh, this
farming.
land is chapter.
It's farming.
Oh, it's farming? Okay.
Hmm.
Is it actively being farmed?
Doesn't matter if it's 61.
It's
Okay.
10-year.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's a 10-year window.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe that one doesn't work then. All right.
Wait,
10
which
year.
lot is chapter 61? The lots right here that we're looking at, or the land owned by City of Worcester?
The land owned by K. Prakniak.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Mhm.
And there are lots that are mixed in, that some are, some aren't. I mean, if whoever has this up, just do layers and then highlight chapter 61. That's
Right,
what I did.
right.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, I do, yeah. I've been doing a fair amount of that too. So now when you say a 10-year window, can you explain that for everyone?
Somebody can get tested after 10
They
if
can
they
get
want.
tested?
If they want.
Oh, they can
But still, it doesn't
contest.
matter. It doesn't matter. They can, as long as he's paying his taxes, all he has to do is reapply.
All he has to do is what? I'm sorry.
Reapply.
Ah, I see. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think I'd like to put it on the list to at least think about it, know more about it, etc. And as I said, maybe he'd like to make some money. So, put the kids through college, or whatever.
I mean, I think it's great that we're looking at parcels that are vacant or whatever, but we also
Mhm.
have to have a second tier in case we have to do something else. I think you have to look at some zones here that you're going to choose to pick. I mean, yes, granted that people are going to put pushback, but I think you also have to have in your plan here some other stuff. Because, you're going to find out that some of this land is just not, it's not open or developed or used for a reason as we dig into it. And I think you don't want to go down this wormhole too far unless you need something else.
That's a good point.
I
That is a
agree,
good
Scott.
point.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I may have said this. I think my preference would be to rezone an area that's already developed, but I can understand why politically that might be really difficult and why people are opposed to it.
Mhm.
Will did make a comment in the chat about how he liked the radio tower lot added. Even though it is near a school, I kind of agree with that. Actually, I definitely agree with that. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, I think multifamily near a school is a good thing. It allows any children that live there to be able to walk to the school.
Mhm.
So I think that's a pretty good lot.
Well, how big is that lot? Can we go back to that lot and see how big it is?
I think we said 12
62.
acres.
12 acres?
Oh, 62.
62, it's huge.
Oh my gosh. Huh. Well, we could perhaps include a part of it. We could include maybe a part of it. I mean, we can look, let's add it to the list. And my thought anyway, for the moment is that we could look at part of it, and see if that might be feasible and might not generate too much opposition.
A lot of it's excluded anyway, so it's not like the whole thing will
Mhm.
be usable.
I do hear what you're saying about it's good for kids who might want to walk to school, whose parents might want them to walk to school. So I do see that that perspective for sure. I'm thinking about getting this approved at town meeting.
I know.
So that's all. So we could do 5 acres. Anyway, we'll see. And I mean, even if you zone for something, as we all know here, I think you can zone for it, but the builder has to be willing to buy it, and the neighborhood has to not so strenuously oppose it that the builder feels like it's not worth the trouble. Um, so, there are a lot more steps, and we have our own zoning requirements that they have to meet. So there are lots of hurdles that have to be surpassed before anything can actually get built. So,
Does Holden have site plan review?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
so anyway, all right. So that's. I mean, it seems to me like that's plenty for now. I did want to touch base just about a couple more things before we close. So, let's see. I'm scrolling back up. So I did want to talk about getting information from other committees. So for example, um, uh, we are required, according to our mandate, to get uh, to get information from the housing authority. I should say entities, not committees per se, but the housing authority, the economic development committee. Uh, let's see, a couple others. I mean, I'm just trying to think what the timing of that should be, and what the what the venue should be. I'm thinking, I mean, so, um, any thoughts about that?
Well, what information are we getting from other committees?
Well, I'd like to understand what the housing authority feels are, um, uh, sort of the housing needs in Holden. Where would, what kind of multifamily housing would be useful? Where would it be useful? You know, we talked a little bit about the whole affordable housing issue, and Peter raised some very good points about, might sound good, but in terms of people actually being able to afford to live in um, affordable housing, um, because of the way the regulations are written, um, is something to think about, and they can provide us some more information about all of that. Elizabeth, you haven't said much for a while. um, any thoughts?
Well, it's been fascinating to watch the map. I had the interactive map up this afternoon and was trying to kind of get acquainted and figure out which parcels or things that are at all viable. I didn't spend a lot of time on it, so it's been
Mm-hmm.
really helpful to have input from people like Victor and James who know more about the planning aspects of picking the land and
Mm-hmm.
raising some of those questions. So it's more a good learning opportunity for me. But the housing authority and the other entities you've talked about, I would think can we invite them to like two at a time or something to an upcoming
Yeah.
meeting, so we don't have a lot of outside input all at once, but then give them a
Yes.
structure as to what kinds of information we're looking for ahead of time.
Yes. I think that makes a lot of sense. I
And
think that makes a lot of
where we
sense.
have a tight time frame, I mean, the sooner the
Mhm.
better, I guess. I don't know how many
Mhm.
different, you just, I think, what, listed 3?
Yeah, well, there's 5, I think, altogether. Hang on, let me find the motion or the charge. One moment. Let's see. Um, all right. Okay. All right. So we have the Holden Housing Authority, the Economic uh, Development Committee, and actually just one more, the school committee. We wanted to hear a little bit from them. Um, so, I don't know if I'd want to
From
have
the
all
school
3.
committee, would we be asking a Holden rep or asking from somebody from the central office? Which,
Well, what do
what do
people
you
think
think?
about that?
Just for your edification, the Economic Development Committee does not really exist anymore, so I think that one has to be taken off the table.
Oh, well, that
Yep.
makes it easier, doesn't it? Um, so, um, I mean, I've been to the Chamber of Commerce meetings in Holden. Um, they tend to, at least insofar as Holden is concerned, from what I can tell, um, they tend to be more of a kind of a social networking group. Um, at least my impression from when I've met with them. Um, but I don't know if they would want to be involved, or at some point, once we have a plan, we might want to go and talk to them about it, and why we think it's um, a good plan. Um, but are there other folks involved in economic development in Holden, even if they're not officially on the committee, who might be worth talking to?
I think it might be worth inviting the Public Works Director in to talk about
Mm-hmm.
his opinion of sewer capacity ongoing. rather than
Mhm.
speculate about it. I mean, I have my own professional opinions, but I'll just keep those to myself for now. But I think Nick should weigh in on the
Mhm.
feasibility of that ever happening, or if it could
Mhm.
happen, where it might happen. And may even have a few words on traffic at the same time, because
Mm.
traffic generation for multifamily is not the same as from single-family houses. In fact,
Right,
it's
right.
typically about half to 60% as much. So
Mhm.
those types of things ought to be documented by the people who have the credentials to document them.
Mhm. Mhm. Peter, your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I've discussed it with Nick a little bit already, and so it's on his radar screen as far as sewer capacity goes and how he could address it. But
Okay,
it
good.
is pretty complicated, so he'll have to review it.
We could definitely invite him in, I think. Um, I'd like to invite the housing authority person to come in person if possible. Um, would people be willing to meet in person? Just because I think that is such an important it's is so relevant, so closely relevant to this discussion. I feel as though the school committee, and and my thought about that would be to have a Holden school committee member and the superintendent, both if they have time, both have time to talk with us. Um, that I could think we could do online, um, but I'd like to have the housing authority people in person. Um, can people? Uh, could we do another meeting in person? Would that work for folks? Could we make that work?
I have no problem with it.
I don't either.
Would
And I
that be
Okay.
later?
mean,
Yeah.
I think, yes. Oh, great. Thanks. Okay. So, all right, great. So, trying to think about the timing. So we do need to talk some more about these maps and these parcels. Um, so what do folks think would be good timing for having the Holden Housing Authority come in?
Would they be the first ones we want to talk to, or would we want to wait to talk to them until we figured out more about these lots?
Yeah, I
I
would suggest
I
you
was
wait until
wondering
you have some plan in play and some sort of
Right.
plan, but that's just a
Okay.
I,
suggestion.
I
Okay.
was wondering if we could do maybe the school committee earlier, because then we can determine more information about schools, how overloaded some of the elementary schools are, underloaded,
Mm-hmm.
um, where the boundaries are, if those boundaries are open to change. That's all
Uh-huh.
stuff that
Mm-hmm.
could be worth learning very early on, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If
I
there's something I'm missing about
yes.
inviting them,
Yes.
I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with that. I can tell you that the Holden elementary schools, at least two of the three of them, and very close to all three of them, are overcrowded or really close to it, on the verge of being overcrowded, if not overcrowded now. And Mount View is also, um, um, bursting at the seams, as I understand it. So, I mean, that issue is going to be an issue. I think Peter was right. We're going to have to build additions onto the schools, at least one of the schools, if not more, um, in the not too, at sometime in the next. Did you say 10 years, Peter? Was that what you said?
10 years, I would say we're probably in the next 5 to 7, we're going to start talking about it seriously.
Okay. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. So, yeah, so definitely the schools are bursting at the seams, really, or they're very close to it, and it's going to be something we're going to have to address, yeah, in the not too distant future. So, but I mean, if you want to talk about other issues, I mean, I'm fine with that. Would we want to spend one more meeting on maps and then maybe have the school committee come in to the next meeting after that? That would be, let me look at my calendar. Uh,
Are we looking for input from these committees on the options that we've identified, or are we gathering information to help us make decisions? I thought it was the latter.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
But what do other people think?
I would think that it should be a little bit of both, because there might be people who have some awareness, especially with the schools and the housing authority, like neighborhood issues, or just
Mm-hmm.
um, feedback that they might get that we can't even imagine in
Mm-hmm.
our current roles, except those of you who are parents of younger kids. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that might just have some impact from both ends of the process, I would think. So if we have things we could float to them about what
Mm-hmm.
we're thinking, but at the same, without an actual firm plan yet, but also ask for their suggestions or input, because it's just another, we don't have to take it, but at least we can ask for it and see what kinds of comments we get.
Mm-hmm.
And more people to understand the challenge. I think looking ahead to the town meeting issue, if we have a few more people who are understanding what we're taking on and trying to do a good job at that, they might serve as advocates for us down the line when we
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to market this. So
Right.
I
Right.
don't, I see more benefit to having them in sooner rather than waiting longer.
Right. Right.
I think personally, I'd like to hear from housing pretty early. I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious about where they identify the housing needs for Holden, what kind of housing they think
Right.
should get built, and that might determine where we locate the zoning districts.
Mm-hmm. Right. That was my thinking. That they would be first on the list, and school committee would be second. Um,
Well, we could have them on the same meeting, couldn't
we
we?
could have them on the same meeting. That's true.
I suppose it
But I
depends
think
on their availabilities to a certain extent.
yes, yes. All right. Okay. So let's see. Trying to think how many more. I feel like we should have. Well, okay. Do we need more decisions on our maps? I'm wondering before we talk to them, or do we want to talk to them sort of before we've really gotten that far?
Will we have the feedback that we're looking for from the the spreadsheets and such that David was referring to, in terms of extra information about the parcels that we identified tonight? Will that be like for the next meeting? Is that how that timeline works, or does it take longer to do that?
Yes. How long do you think that'll take?
Right, so according to Ron Barron, who is not here tonight partially because of staffing issues, which I
Mhm.
believe also pertain to his group, he estimated a week to 2 weeks. He
Mm-hmm.
couldn't guarantee a hard 7 days from now.
Okay. All right.
Because he
So
has
we
to
have
rely on other people to help him with the part of the project. It's not just,
right.
he's not doing all this. There are people behind the scenes who are
Mm-hmm.
also involved with various parts of this project.
Right. So we have 1, 2, 3 weeks before. Uh, well, maybe let's see. Yeah, we have 3 weeks before the Thanksgiving week. So, um, if we um, if we spent the next, hmm, let's say the next. Do you think we need the next two? Probably the next two meetings talking about maps, and then maybe the week the week before the Thanksgiving week, um, Thursday, November 20th. That would be. Um, we could see if um, the um, the housing authority and the school committee can meet with us, and they might even be able to meet with us, both of them in person. Um, would that seem reasonable to people?
As long as we're moving forward, I guess that's what we'll do. I guess that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Why don't
James or
why don't we reach
I
out to them and just try and schedule them as soon as possible, and then
Okay.
depending on when they're available, we can kind of work around that a little bit.
Yeah, I would say definitely 1 week to talk about maps, basically a continuation of this discussion. And then maybe that second week, we can invite one of the groups on for 15, 20 minutes. I don't know how long, but
right.
however long they're available. And then
Mm-hmm.
maybe make some finalizations after that.
Okay. All right.
Can
So
I
let's.
can I add a
Yeah.
point, just something that happened today that I was in my lovely looking through my emails and stuff like that. BZ had an article, the TV
Mm-hmm.
station, that
Mm-hmm.
says 17 cities and towns have not got their MBTA in line. And the way they worded it, I'm not going to add anything to it, but some of you should go online and look at the way it was worded. I mean,
Oh,
it is
really?
not pleasant what they're
Oh,
saying about the rest of us. and they believe that we should be punished. And I
Oh,
was
geez.
really amazed that the TV station promoted it that way.
Wow. I will go look for that. Thank
It's
you.
on WBC, the TV channel 4.
Yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of judgment from some quarters that's
It's just,
perhaps
I mean,
overly
it
harsh.
has no bearing on our decisions here, but you just,
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked that they were making comments like that
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
saying that they, it's a public thing. That's all. Just so
Right.
you all know,
Okay.
that's all.
So it's on the WBZ website, you said?
I don't think it's, I don't know if it's their website. I just went online and I put it back in and I was able to pop it up again, but
Okay.
I
All
didn't
right.
do it. I just did it earlier today when I was on the
Uh-huh.
road.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'll look for that.
But
Because, yeah,
there's 17 of us that haven't done it.
only 17, huh?
That's only 17.
Wow.
Middleborough passed. It's the ones that were fighting. Most of them have passed. Because
Wow.
the Middleborough town manager was there. He was up.
Mhm.
There was a bunch of them up, and I went, whoa.
Uh-huh.
So
Well, I think that just shows just that we really need to come up with something that will pass a town meeting. That to me is a major message from that. So, um, so both for the money and also for our reputations. Um, I do think some of the things I've heard have been kind of harsh, but um, anyway, all right. So, so do you want, James, are you saying you want me well, I'll ask people about their schedules, but do we want to try to have people come, at least have one of those two entities come on Thursday, November 13th? That's 2 meetings from now, or is that too soon? Do people think?
I think giving the option to do that, yeah.
Okay. Does anyone object to that?
nope, not yet.
All right, great. All right, terrific. Thank you. I really appreciate all the thought and effort that's been put into this. I really truly do. Um, all right, so we will see you next Thursday, same time, same station. And thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Have a great night.